Okay, I'm looking at number 19, 20, and 21 on the Chapter 6 test preview. The instructions for this section ask you to write an equation for the requested trigonometric function with the stated amplitude, period, phase shift, or vertical shift. And I will just say right now that if you show this kind of work on the test, I will be more compelled to provide or to award partial credit. Okay, if all you're showing me is your answer and I can't see what your thought process was, I can't give you partial credit for incorrect answers. So show me some work. Okay, to begin with, I'm writing a cosine function and the amplitude is 4. So the first thing I wrote was y equals 4 times the cosine of, and then I need to do some work to find the value of k and c for this equation I'm writing. So the first thing I did was say, if this is a cosine function, the formula for finding the period of a cosine is that the period will equal 2 pi over k. Well, that means that 6 pi needs to equal 2 pi over k. And so if you multiply by k on both sides, you get 6 pi k equals 2 pi. And when you divide by 6 pi on both sides, the pi's cancel, and 2 over 6 reduces to 1/3. So the value of k for my equation is 1/3. So I can put that in here. It's 1/3 times theta. And then I need to find the value of c. Okay, the value of c is associated with the phase shift of the function. And we're told that this graph has a phase shift of -1 pi. So I set the phase shift equal to the opposite of c over k. That means -pi equals -c over 1/3. Okay, to solve this equation for c, I multiplied by 1/3 on both sides. That canceled the 1/3 over here, and it gave me -1 pi over 3 is equal to -c. And then I switch the negative sign. We end up with positive pi over 3 is equal to c. So plug that in, a -5 for the vertical shift, and you're all set. For number 20, y equals the tangent of 1/2 theta minus pi over 8 minus 1. Okay, the value of k is found for a tangent function by setting the period equal to pi over k. That was a common mistake. In the past, when I've given this test, I still have people using 2 pi over k to determine the period, or as the period formula. So be careful. If it's a tangent graph, you're setting the period of 2 pi equal to pi over k. Solve that for k, and you get 1/2 for the value of k. The phase shift equals the opposite of c over k. So we have pi over 4 equals the opposite of c over 1/2. And so I multiplied by 1/2 on both sides. 1/2 times pi over 4 gives you 1 pi over 8. And switch the negative sign over to the other side. -pi over 8 for the value of c. For number 21, I set the period 3 pi over 2 equal to pi over k. For a cotangent function, the period equals pi over k. And so I like to solve these, if it's two fractions, one on either side of the equal sign, I like to solve it as a proportion. So I have 3 pi k is equal to 2 pi. And so I divided by 3 pi on both sides, and k was 2/3. To find the value of c, I set the phase shift, that's 3 pi over 2, equal to the opposite of c over k, which I just found is 2/3. And so to solve this for c, I multiplied by 2/3 on both sides. That canceled the divide by 2/3 on this side. And if you take 2 over 3 times 3 over 2, you get 6 pi over 6, which is just pi. So c is equal to -pi.